And you thought the hike up was long. Now you're going back down. This time deep down within the mountain, into the earth, through winding passages lit by strange bits of fungus and lichen. Bioluminescence, an old fuddy-duddy in your party called it, whatever that means. There's an air of peace to the whole trek, though, like a sort of pilgrimage, interrupted only by the occasional stir of excitement from that one of your party. They keep going on about their return to their alma mater, whatever that means. Just an old fuddy-duddy that's always overthinking everything, using big words. Show off. Though, you must admit, the stunning beauty of the palace at the peak, well, and that massive ancient horse being that had an audience with a lot of you, it must have taken great intelligence and imagination to create such an intricate fortress and home atop and within a mountain. You might like things simple, but you were certainly struck with awe. Only a fool wouldn't notice or be impressed. You like things simple, but you're no simpleton. And now you've taken the lead once again, though your party insists it's all safe in these halls. You know better when heading down and down into the dark. But toward what? Some sort of school, they said. A university, the fuddy-duddy called it. Whatever that means. They keep going on about things like philosophy and history and maths. Especially maths. Who gets excited about maths? Old fuddy-duddies. That's who. You hear a noise and stop in your tracks. Like someone blowing through straw? You hold your arms out in defense of the party as a small but monstrous creature turns a corner and looks at you from eyes atop tentacle-like appendages. You hear words form in your head. Welcome. That won't trick you. But the old fuddy-duddy has just run past you in a full, excited sprint. Fool! He yells at a cry of joy. Professor Flumphs! And grabs the creature in a warm embrace. My old friend! Professor? Flumphs? What the hell is this place?
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Well, hello again, creatures, and welcome to another episode of Encounter This. I am your host, James Biscotti Kid, and with me, as always, is Freeman Tickled Pink Iceton, and he is going to be taking us through Flumphs on the Monster Manual on page 135 if you want to follow along. Tickle Pink, eh?
Tickle Pink.
That's the one you went with?
That's the one I went with. I am tickled pink, as always. You know how giggly I am.
That's true.
Did you ever say biscotti when you were a kid? Was that a thing for you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I blocked a lot of those like really childish mispronunciations out of my mind.
Fair enough. Yeah.
The only one that I can really remember is that my sister, until like into her late teens, couldn't say instructions. She always called them constructions, and was 100% convinced that she was saying it right for ages. So apparently, that thing that I do is just genetic.
Hey, well, that just means it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've overcome some of them really speaks to your discipline. I had a little brother that would just purposely use big words and just throw them into his sentences to make himself look smarter. But he would use them totally wrong all the time. I have no examples for you, but it would happen a lot. You'd be like, "Dad, I don't think that means what you think it means, man." No, you look
I
dumb.
have a feeling that if I really deconstructed my childhood, I would also be that kid.
Yeah, yeah. I'm never really worried about getting older because I just think about how much of a little shit I was, however many years ago.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to be that again. I prefer today's Freeman, where he's all pink and tickled.
That's one of those phrases that just makes me uncomfortable to a level that I can't describe.
I know what you mean. It's an odd one. It just really does imply fingers on your sides, doesn't it? Just don't touch me.
Yeah, that's what it implies.
Anyway, we should probably talk about flumphs.
Give the audience what they came for.
Yeah,
that's a good strategy to media production.
We've been talking about doing these guys since, probably since we started the podcast. And then the last time they really came up was during Illithids, which they were briefly mentioned. I thought finally we should get to it. The old flumphs. Do you know much about these guys off the top of your head?
I know what they look like, and that's about it.
Yep, they look like the flying spaghetti monster, which we'll come to at some point.
Okay. Especially that 4E art, though.
Yeah, seriously. So they seem to have been passed over in 4E, but did you just say 4E art? Sorry.
I thought it was 4E art.
No, that's the 3E. That's the 3E.
Okay.
Yeah. 4E they seem to be passed over. But these guys do go back to first edition. They are Underdark dwelling creatures, but they are of law and good. And instead of the typical chaos and or evil and neutrality you would find. They are shaped a bit like a flat saucer, is how they're described. Some of the artwork, generally, yes. Some of it, not so much. But the saucer is about 2 feet in diameter, or 61 centimeters, and 3 to 4 inches thick, or 7.6 to 19 centimeters. So decent variance there. And that then tapers out to about a 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter edge. They have a circular hole in the top of this sort of flat saucer. But it looks a little bit like a mouth in most of the artwork, to be honest. But it sits in that center, and it's an opening to their body, which is hollow. Then they have 2 eye stalks that sit on either side of said hole that are about 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. And they have several tentacles with small growth of spikes at the that come out from the underside of the saucer. And some are dexterous enough to manipulate objects. And these tendrils also had like acidic properties, and the flumph would tend to fight defensively if it could not flee using these.
So listeners, if you're having a hard time picturing this from this description, you are 100% correct.
Yes, you should be.
You should not be able to picture this. So just head on over to our Instagram at encounter.pod and look at that 5e art, because it is something else.
It is something else, absolutely. But everything the wiki was so specific on its dimensions. I had to put it all in. I loved it. But it is accurate, but you can't picture that while describing it in words. It's crazy.
Yeah, valid.
Other than their tentacles, they did have the ability to shoot sticky, foul-smelling liquid that would last for hours. So they're the skunk of the Underdark. And the odor was potent enough to sicken even nearby creatures. So, yeah. These
didn't see that coming.
Yeah. They can float above the ground, or they do float above the ground, about 4 to 6 inches, so 10 to 15 centimeters. And this is through an innate anti-gravity property or field that emanates from the underside of their body. And then the air around them circulates through the top hole and is expelled through small holes on the underside of the body, which produces jets of air, and that's how they move around. And the namesake of the flumph is from these jets, because when they move around, it's like flumph, flumph, flumph. And that's why they're called flumphs.
I cannot wait till we get to the cultural lore for this, because this is everything you've just said is pure insanity. This is like a Rick and Morty LSD fly scenario.
It so is. So ridiculous. Yep. So they flumph around, although it's quite subtle. So if you're in a really quiet area, that's when you'll hear it. But otherwise, maybe not so much. They don't. It doesn't really give them away per se. But Culturally, Flumphs are nomadic or monastic, and the latter of which gather into complex communities called cloisters. Cloisters have no leaders, and each individual Flumph is called a monk, and it contributes in its own way and has its own place and purpose that contributes to the harmony of the cloister. Although this is changed from older editions where a leader did in fact exist, in which they were called an abbot, and they were aided by a group called priors.
We have a little farting jellyfish mixed with a snail, and wizards decided that they needed to underline the society with Christianity for some reason.
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's like...
Is Gygax a troll?
He might be. He very well might be. He's laughing at his grave right now, loving it. Rest in peace. Flumphs will glow faintly, pretty much at any time, and the color of this glow changes based on their mood. So you can add mood ring to your list of strangeness. They are soft pink for amused, which is why I'm tickled pink. Deep blue for sadness, green for curiosity, and crimson for anger. And they are very sensitive to others' emotional states and can detect intention. And in fact, will seek out creatures that emanate good and flee when faced creatures that exude evil. And as such, you can surmise that these creatures are built around telepathy and psionics. They communicate exclusively through telepathy. And Flumphs are also like highly intelligent, considered to be very wise.
Okay, that's good to know. I was starting to wonder where these things were going to fall on the intelligence scale.
Right. Prepare to be disappointed by that description, though. They possess great knowledge of religion, philosophy, mathematics, and many other subjects. Apparently,
why would these creatures need maths?
I don't know. Maybe they need to figure out why they're farting all the time.
That would be, well, I guess that would be a science, but I don't think that would be a maths. Like,
math applies to everything at some point.
I guess.
But hey, they're just floating around thinking, so might as well pick up something. Well, I mean, they're not the only creatures in the Underdark either, right? So they perhaps mathematics, and this is me just spitballing here, but perhaps mathematics will help aid in their defenses against other said creatures, or perhaps alliances.
Just a Flumph teaching like a bugbear algebra to get it to defend.
Yeah, man. I mean, how else is the bugbear going to get a bit smarter? No one ever gives him a chance.
Yes, I mean that seems like I don't want to get into too much of a side tangent here because I love mathematics. I think it's fantastic. But when we're talking about mathematics, we're like maths, unless applied, which is usually done in other sciences, is almost 100% theoretical.
Right.
So I don't see a value for that in this community if they already float for no reason. And are monastic. Like there's not a whole lot of value to counting or geometry or or any other form of math that I can't think of because I'm not smart enough.
I believe it's pronounced geometry.
It might be.
Yes. I mean, regardless, just take the subject out, add another subject in. The idea is that they're supposed to have broad horizons. And stretch themselves across multiple subjects because there are, there's a large group of them, and like I said, they all very individual, so they don't focus on one big thing as a group. Instead, they gather and each individual focuses on something and contributes to the group. So maybe there's just that one guy. It's like there was no subjects left. He's like, oh, I guess I'll do math. That'll be me.
Yeah, I guess.
They're like, yeah, okay, whatever, Gerald. But yeah, given that these things don't really have a mouth, they instead feed on mental energy, and particularly of those with psionic abilities. And so they can be found lurking and siphoning these energies near communities like Illithids or Mind Flayers, Aboleths, and Gith. They are described as a passive parasite, taking only the amount of mental energy they need and no more, and most creatures feel no loss or discomfort of any kind when these, quote, feedings are happening, and they're basically left completely unawares. However,
Like an
feeding
incubus?
would they what do they do? They feed on like nightmares or something like that, or do they cause them? I forget.
Sexual energy, I think.
Oh,
Sexual
okay,
tension.
yeah. But I think they get a little more hands-on, a little more handsy in their approach.
Okay.
These guys just
Gotcha.
float nearby and suckle a bit of that mental energy, and then move on. The downside, though, well, there's upsides and downsides, I guess. Feeding on mental energies reveals the thoughts and emotions to the Flumph. And then feeding on energies of evil creatures can actually sicken a Flumph. So when they encounter good creatures or adventurers, they usually are eager to share what information they have about the evil nearby, in hopes that the good will defeat evil. Even if it means that the Flumph has to go find a new source for feeding, they would still rather see the evil squashed. And it will help with their recovery.
Okay.
So as mentioned in one of our Illithid episodes that covered mind witnesses, which are beholders that are affected by Illithid tadpoles, mind witnesses could find themselves separated from mind flayer colonies and in the service of Flumphs instead. In which case, Flumphs work to change the worldview and alignment of mind witnesses, which are, malleable in that way, and will steer them towards good. And this is your reminder of how mind witnesses basically work as telepathic hubs that can help spread and share information at great speeds and distances, in addition to the usual beholder eye rays and all that. So they make pretty good, geographical guardians. So basically a Flumph's cloister, as it were, could put great use to these mind witnesses and can sort of convert them, so to speak.
Yeah. So just so I'm wrapping my head around this the right way,
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that in a Flumph's company, a mind witness could shoot a ray of maths?
I wish.
Or here's the concentrated works of Socrates instead of an eye ray? Is that I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's kind of what it sounds like you're telling me.
No. I'm just saying
They can't just beam their consciousness directly into your mind.
That was just me reminding you of what the mind witness can do, not what it does once it's been converted to the Flumph community.
Gotcha.
No, it's just got its usual. It's the usual behold eye race, not the flumpy airjet ones.
Okay. I'm back on the same page, I think. I'm having a real hard time wrapping my head around this creature. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, a slightly odd thing here is that mind flayers actually do not seem to care about Flumphs at all. And so cloisters will actually be found near them fairly often so that they can continue feeding. Not mind flayers. I think they were generally just automatically labeled as evil all the time. But if that's the case, then this is sort of conflicting with that, very much so. So I would imagine, at least some of those communities, run by elder brains and stuff, certainly would gear towards law and perhaps neutrality.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The Githyanki, which we haven't covered the Gith yet, but the Gith are divided into two, the Githyanki and the Githzerai. And the Githyanki were ex-slaves turned to raiders and pillagers. And the Githzerai, I believe, splintered off from them. But these guys, the Githyanki, actually hate Flumphs and usually attack on sight, likely when raiding mind flayer colonies and finding them nearby. But that's my speculation. I found nothing in regards as to why they hate Flumphs, but that's my guess, is that they probably see them as connected to mind flayers who would have been there.
If I remember correctly, the Gith Yanki are the segment of the Gith society that aren't psionically capable.
Oh, okay.
Which is why they turn to become these astral pirates,
right,
for the lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's probably just their ability to use psionics that they distaste. But I'm so prepared to be corrected on that. It's been ages since I've read Gith lore.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense, though. That certainly lines up if it's true. That's pretty much all the 5e lore. There's even a little bit of other lore smattered in there. Do have a couple other notes coming from, a lot of it coming from the Monstrous Compendium Annual Volume 2, which I think was 2e.
It sounds like 2e.
The Ecology of the Flumph, again, Dragon Magazine, just showing everyone up. So there's some details offered, like, like ecology kind of stuff. Like they produced once every 2 years through a budding process, 1 to 8 tiny young that would grow fully independent in 3 months and full size with 1 additional month. They only had a lifespan of about 20 years, so pretty short. And they actually ate small creatures like rats and lizards or frogs by flying higher up and then dropping onto their prey, and then they would absorb nutrients of these creatures through their tentacles. And I love this because it's come up a couple times lately, and I'm super happy. They were known, there was some practical applications known for the use of their organs when harvested. Their brain could be powdered and then used in the crafting of potions of levitation. And one brain could yield 3 potions. The inner layers of the tentacles could be used in crafting oils of acid resistance with a yield of 1 oil per 20 tentacles. Although they've got a good number on each of them, so especially the 5e one, it's got tons. And then they had glands that produced the foul-smelling liquid that they could shoot out, and that was a material component in casting a stinking cloud spell. However, the unique smell produced from this component could attract any Flumph within a mile radius, or 1.6 kilometers.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So it kind of changes the spell up a little bit. Almost an odd, like, little secretive adventure hook. Like, we need to figure out where these Flumphs are, and we found a dead one. Quick, extract its glands and cast stinking cloud. They'll come to us. It's a bit of a stretch, but hey, it'd be fun.
That is. I like that. I like that a lot.
Per usual, too, origins are a mystery overall, but it is believed that they have genetic ties to Grell. We haven't covered Grell, but Grell are also floating tentacled creatures. They kind of look like a brain with tentacles and like a bird's beak that sticks out and like no eyes. But
yeah, we haven't done Grell yet either, but we'll get there.
Yeah. And because of this believed connection, it's suspected that Flumphs were once secreted or illegal passengers aboard Grell Spelljammer ships. And I would like to take this opportunity to not only say that I love that idea, but also fuck you, wizards, for teasing everybody on April Fools for bringing back Spelljammer. Because that was not cool. That was not cool at all.
That was pretty harsh.
Yeah, people have been dying for that shit since 2e. Yeah, that's not cool. There was even someone on one of our Discords that just like went on a rant about it. Like, it's enough to make me quit D&D. It's so bad. It's like, yeah.
Well, on the plus side, we may we may get it with the amount of interest and backlash that Wizards got from that.
Maybe, yeah. They just changed CEO, I think, or someone really high up has changed, is taken a new position coming in from somewhere else, and they announced, like, it's not 6th edition, but everyone suspects it's going to be like, community labeled as 5.5e, where there's erratas coming in for the rules and stuff like that, and they're reassessing how they approach the releasing new content. So you never know.
Yeah.
Spelljammer could be on its way.
RPG. Yeah.
Don't take my word for it, because I don't want to be the tease that Wizards is.
Yeah.
Taking the moral high ground. But yeah, that's it. That's your D&D lore on the old Flumph. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great to me. I like the inclusion of Grells, because I don't think we've talked about them too much, and I've run a bunch of Grells recently.
Oh yeah. I do remember one of those.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Like there's not a whole lot to be upset about here. There's just There's probably more than is necessary for this creature.
Yeah.
But we did have to spend a lot of time explaining what this looks like.
Yes. Hit up the Instagram. It is the flying spaghetti monster. That's what it is. Which is what we're going to talk about now because there's certainly no cultural lore related to this creature. I almost wonder if the flying spaghetti monster was inspired by this creature. Because for those who don't know, there is a satirical religion called the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, aka Pastafarianism. And this, of course, comes to mind simply because of the artwork of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. But they had that classic picture of the spaghetti monster reaching a piece of tentacle pasta towards the finger of God, from the Sistine Chapel artwork. And it just looks just like one of these guys, pretty much. No, of course, we're not here to talk about religion and politics, but those who are unfamiliar, I've made a couple bullet points of interesting facts and funny satirical outcomes of this satire religion. It was introduced in 2005 in a satirical open letter to the Kansas State Board of Education as a way to argue against the motion of teaching intelligent design as an alternative to evolution in public school science classes. So that's where it came up. And then it became an internet sensation like pretty fast after that.
It happened really, really quickly.
Yeah.
By end of 2005, it had spread to like our high school in rural Ontario.
Yeah. And so like it sparks lots of heated religious controversy, of course. And it is widely considered a modern version of the Russell's teapot analogy, which is coined by the philosopher Bertrand Russell. Are you familiar with that analogy?
I am not.
So suffice it to say, it's an analogy that basically considers the philosophy of the burden of proof rather than the burden of disproof. And it was like this idea that you could say that there's a Chinese teapot floating in orbit between Earth and Mars, but it's too small and moving too fast for any telescope to pick it up. And you just have to take my word for it. And then, of course, people would call you crazy for that. But and if you started to try and introduce that into education at young people would be really, really mad and angry. Like, why would you ever do that kind of thing? And so it is a commentary on the burden of proof, in which, if someone's going to claim that teapot is out there, well, it's up to them to prove it. You can't just take their word for it. Anyway, it goes on and on, but it's a philosophical sort of idea. And that's basically what this open letter was as well. It was taking the same concept and saying, well, I think you should teach this, because I equate it to what you are positing. And if you want me to back down, I'll have to show you the proof, which I can't, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I don't think we should be teaching religion in our public schools. That sounds like insanity to me.
It's separation of church and state. It's been a thing, supposed to have been a thing for a very long time, and it's those lines are very blurred.
Yeah,
those lines are very blurred.
As a Canadian, I am absolutely choked that the word God is in our national anthem.
Yeah, for the longest time, I just didn't notice for the longest time. But I mean, I grew up quite religious, and so it just didn't occur to me, But as an adult now, I'm like, oh man, that is nope. We should probably not do that.
Yeah, that's pretty wrong. It's not okay to force your beliefs on others.
Yeah, the thing that gets me always is that which God? It's presumed to be the Christian God, but it just says God. It gets real messy when you just leave it in there. You might as well just take it out.
There are some delineations because when it's written with a capital G.
There you go.
So that's my issue with it. Because we all know who you think you're talking about, and I don't know. Yeah. It's not okay. To
be fair, I don't think I could do the whole national anthem from start to finish anymore from memory. I don't think I'd remember all the. I mean, if someone else was singing next to me, I'd probably pick it up pretty quick. But I don't think I could sit here and do it. It's been so long. But the next time I do, I'm just going to put Zeus in there or something. Let's call it a day.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I definitely could, but I watch a lot of hockey games. I could do the U.S. national anthem, but
Oh yeah.
like there are little pervasive things like that in our culture that really bug me, like
Mhm.
swearing on a Bible,
Right.
holidays,
Yeah.
like the word holiday, like bugs the shit out of me. But
yeah.
this is not a religious diatribe, as we keep saying and yet keep falling into. Tell me more about Pastafarianism.
Well, they've had varying degrees of success in seeking legal recognition across the world. In New Zealand, they are recognized as marriage celebrants, which means they can conduct legal marriage ceremonies. In Austria, there was a man named Nico Alm who found out that Austrian photo ID regulations allowed headgear for religious purposes and spent 3 years pursuing his right as a Pastafarian to wear a pacistrainer on his head for his driver's license photo. This was probably one of the most famous examples, and he won it. He won out, and he got his picture taken. Although he did have to obtain a certification from an exam to prove that he was psychologically fit to drive.
That is a fantastic compromise.
Yeah. Which I mean,
so it's because of Nico that one of my friends growing up was allowed to wear a colander in his student ID because it was a religious headgear, and he had to, and he cited Nico Alm for that.
That's amazing. It's so good. It's just I mean, I love it. I love the sheer cheekiness of it, and I appreciate its intention, Yeah. There's a man in Germany,
Seneca in Ontario, there's precedent for it.
Right. I believe someone told me that it happened here in BC at some point too. Someone get it on their driver's license, but I didn't find any evidence of that in my own research. It was actually, they told me about that after I'd finished my research, so maybe it's out there. But there was also a man in Germany that won the right to wear something similar, but it was a pirate bandana instead of a pacistrainer. But it's because this stems from the Pastafarian belief that pirates are revered as the original Pastafarians.
Yeah, and they're also single-handedly responsible for global warming.
For global warming, yeah.
Yeah.
Pirates.
It is a correlation does not equal causation argument, but there are no more pirates, but there is global warming.
Yeah.
So bringing back pirates would end global warming. Which none of the words that I just said are true. There are still pirates.
There are still pirates.
Bringing them back will not reduce global warming. Pirates are not good. They were not a good thing then. They're not a good thing now.
I just love there's this philosophical logic through the whole thing, but it's also so absurd at the same time. I just love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it too much.
To be clear to the audience, nobody actually believes this. This is a troll religion to upset people who are ecclesiastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This whole thing is designed to prove or is an experiment set out to prove that that religion is dubious at best and insane at worst.
To me, it definitely comes back to the Russell's teapot thing, and that this is a modern version of it. It is about the burden of proof.
Yeah,
it's like if you're going to claim it and want everyone to agree and align themselves with it, then you have to be able to show the proof.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I'm 100% on board for that. But this is taking it a little far. And I'm not against people taking it far because that means I don't have to.
Sometimes things got to go far.
But this whole thing is essentially a joke. So don't take any of this seriously unless you want to believe it. But it stems as a troll religion. So.
But that brings us to the old mechanics.
Oh yeah,
I cracked my can early.
I got one here for you.
Okay, I got a little excited.
There we go.
There it is. This is the beer of disappointments, but the beer is not disappointing. It's drunk and disappointing moments, as well as exciting moments.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to help the mechanics go down because I can't imagine that these are a force to be reckoned with.
No, and I don't think they should be. but I feel like they could use just a slight bit more love in some areas. Starting off with the fact that they're CR 1/8 and only have an HP of 7. They are basically...
They're more decoration than they are
They're
creature.
cannon fodder. Like, you might as well give them 1 HP.
I think an Iron Lock has better stats than that.
Right? They, for some reason, have a 5-foot walking speed, even though they don't walk. And they have a 30-foot flying speed, which is fine. I don't think they have to be super fast. They're farting jets of air to get around. I think that kind of lines up. AC of 12.
I think 30 is probably too fast.
Yeah, maybe. maybe if they've been holding it in all day, they can get a real big burst of speed. So the first time they move in combat, double it. Oh, geez. They're small. Although, for some reason, I pictured the medium. I feel like they'd be more unnerving if they were a medium-sized creature. But they are small. They are aberrations, which lines up with...
I'm pretty sure they're designed to be adorable.
Yeah, in a very strange way. I kind of want a plush toy of one of these.
Oh, yeah.
They are aberrations, which does line up with the theory of them, coming to the world on a Spelljammer ship. And their alignment is lawful good. They understand Undercommon but cannot speak. And they have telepathy out to 60 feet. And I'm sure we've talked about this before, but I've never quite figured out if telepathy just means they can speak regardless of language. I feel like that's how I would sort of roll it. You're sending messages that are non-linguistic that are automatically interpreted is sort of how I imagine telepathy working, at least in 5e. Your thoughts and opinions?
I'm on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
Where it's like, I understand that you can convey concepts, but that's not telepathy to me. Mm-hmm. That would be something more empathetic, where this is, this might be the creature to relax that rule, but there's no reason they would give them Undercommon if that's not what you heard in your head.
Yeah. I mean, Undercommon, like, if I were to argue almost against that, it would be like Undercommon's thrown in there simply because they live in the Underdark, so they would have had to become used to understanding it being spoken to them. See, the thing about the telepathy thing is it only goes one way, so they can convey that to you, but if you're speaking common to them, they're not going to understand it. Unless you have telepathy yourself, then maybe you could speak, because it's almost like its own language in and of itself.
I'm sure that's how the rules in 5e work, but that's not how they work at my table.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I'm easy either way, to be honest, at the end of the day. I don't really mind it. But I mean, I think language barriers, sometimes they're not fun. Sometimes they're not fun at all. So if you feel like...
Sometimes they're not supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Sometimes they can be frustrating for the player.
That's fair. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's always a way around it.
Wasn't that long ago we had a language barrier issue that turned... It was interesting to start, and then it didn't go so well later because a player forgot that their comprehend languages spell had run out. So it was like player error that turned it into a frustrating moment. But the language barrier itself was a cool thing that almost overcame, and it was actually turning out really neat. But it blew up in the face.
That's on us.
Yes,
as long as you give your players the tools to overcome it, or you're open to overcoming it.
Yes,
with society checks or linguistic checks or what have you, whatever exists in your RPG, as long as you are open to them finding a creative way around it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I actually prefer it because I prefer my players to have to power through stuff like that, because as much as the game is designed to be fun, it can't always be fun. And if that's when you're having a miserable time, you're trying to draw a map on in the sand of the Underdark for this flumph to navigate through or what have you to show you a direction, like, that's fine by me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's your primer on telepathy. They have no resistances or immunities, but they curiously do have a vulnerability, which we don't see very often, and it is to psychic damage.
So they're like Pokemon. Psychic's weak against psychic.
Yeah, right? It's slightly odd, but I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense because, I mean, the idea is that it's psychic damage, which means it's a hostile action, and we've already established in the lore that they are sensitive to evil psionics. In general, it can make them sick if they're feeding off of that. So why not sort of combine those? Psychic damage isn't necessarily evil, but it is hostile. So I'm not super against it. The only thing is that they have 7 fucking HP. Why do they need to be vulnerable at all? You're gonna kill them anyway.
I mean, they're set dressing to me at this point.
Yeah. They do have dark vision, Underdark, probably required. They have boosts to your arcana, history, and religion. They very, 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 very disappointingly only have 14 int and 14 wisdom.
It's not bad.
It's not bad for a CR 1/8, but their whole shtick is they're philosophers and considered highly intelligent and extremely wise. And the Lord didn't say
would be extremely wise to a regular human being.
Didn't say it's smart for a stupid person.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, like, in our world, like Stephen Hawking's would only have a 10 intelligence.
You think so?
Most of us, if we translated, would be like 9, 8, 6.
I mean, you're putting a tremendous amount of stock into one ability score point there.
Well, I'm just using it as a particular example. Like 10 is where super beings start.
Yeah. So. I feel like I'm inclined to agree just because, of the concept of the wizard, where it's like it's a level of intelligence that can like basically manipulate and recreate, misunderstood or little understood energies like magic, and you're doing it through your intellect. And the only way to actually have a bonus towards said attempt is to have a +1 modifier, essentially. So you're pulling it off without a bonus at all does kind of put you in a near superhuman intellect kind of position. So
yeah, so commoners where people like you and I would fall are all base 10.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's where the 0 modifier comes from, is that 10 is the base.
Yeah.
So even the smartest human being currently would theoretically only be a 10, maybe 11, or that's the assumption we're led to believe in 5e. And it's not like our smartest person versus 5e, it's like our smartest person from 1600 versus 5e.
Right, yeah.
So the fact that they're 2 increments higher or 4 increments higher than that is quite a bit higher realistically. I'm not saying I don't wish they were higher, because I do. I wish these were 16s, but compared to regular mortals, it's not. It is quite high.
Mm. Well, I mean, I think the lesson here, listeners, is that if you're ever playing a wizard or an artificer and you manage to start at level 1 with 18 intelligence, just remember that your character is far more intelligent than you are.
Yeah,
and try to play accordingly.
Got a modifier more than 12. You should be playing that up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know the answer, but my character with this intelligence of 16 would probably know the answer.
It might be a hard sell to some of your DMs out there, but it's true. It's just simply true.
They should be listening.
Yeah. Tell them to listen to this episode.
Or any episode of the GCP where Skid plays Pembroke.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. GCP, Pembroke, he's just always going on about how the character's just unbelievably intelligent and he doesn't know how to play it properly. It's great.
Well, he's just not capable.
Yeah. Yeah. Abilities. Advanced telepathy. Who'da thunk? It can perceive the content of any telepathic communication within 60 feet. And it cannot be surprised by any creature with any form of telepathy. I think that's actually kind of neat.
Can perceive the content of any telepathic communication.
In other words, it can intercept your message.
And understand it, perceive the content. Mm-hmm. So this right here, this ability allows you to understand telepathy in other languages.
Yes. Yeah. So that's probably the confirmation of how a 5e operates it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So telepathy, you need to share a language unless you have this advanced telepathy.
Perhaps,
is what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Vindication.
They have an ability, or perhaps a lack thereof, called prone deficiency. If they are knocked prone, you have to roll any die. And if it lands on an odd result, the Flumph lands upside down and is incapacitated. And at the end of each of its turns, it can roll a dex save to try and right itself.
Like a tortoise?
Yep. Just when you thought they were as silly as they should be.
My issue with this isn't anything other than the fact that it's in the ability section, and I know that it's why it's in the ability section and it's in the interest of simplicity. But this is not an ability. This is the exact opposite of an ability.
Like I said, lack thereof. Yeah.
That's fantastic, though. I love that. I love everything about that. The mechanics, everything.
It just makes you want to have a character like walk into a cloister of Flumphs and then just cast like a wind spell that knocks them all over.
You just start kicking them.
Oh man.
An AC of 12, almost every hit's gonna hit. So
Yeah.
just give them a little boot, 1 damage, and flip them over.
They also have telepathic shroud, which means they are immune to any effect that can read their thoughts or emotions, up to and including divination spells.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah. And then from there, they can attack with their tendrils. It's a +4 to hit, 1d4 +2, plus 1d4 acid. But this is a persistent acid. So at the end of the target's turn, they roll a con save, or they take a 1d4 acid again, and that continues until they save. Or a lesser restoration spell can end it as well. But it's not very often we see that in 5e, a persistent damage.
No. I'm fine with that. It seems like a lot of work to put on the GM.
Yeah, but it's a low save, DC 10. That's gonna be overcome pretty quickly. And then the stench spray, they can only do it once per day, but it's a 15-foot cone, DC 10 dex save, or be coated in foul-smelling liquid, and sting horribly for 1d4 hours. You gain the poisoned condition as long as the stench lasts. And any creature within 5 feet of you also gains the poisoned condition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Which basically, poisoned is not, we established this at one point, but poison damage and poisoned condition are very different things. So poisoned effectively just grants disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, which is like, it's no slouch at the end of the day.
Not saves, though, right?
Not saves. Saves. Just ability checks. And this can be removed during a short rest, so long as you bathe in water, alcohol, or vinegar.
Sure. I think they forgot tomato juice, but yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. But that's the old stat block. Given that they're like non-combatants, I don't really think I would, or like they seem to be assumed to be non-combatants. They fight defensively, they try to flee, so on and so forth. These should really be like, more like information brokers in a sense. So I don't really see increasing their damages and attacks. I do feel like the int and wisdom need to be higher. And I don't think they need to reflect the CR of the creature. Although, there is something interesting that I didn't note here, but I do recall reading, and it's that there was a quick note in the wiki that said there were some Flumphs known to be granted clerical abilities, and so could cast spells. And but the gods that they worshipped and were that granted these abilities were unknown to anyone. So I like that idea. Perhaps if you do go that route as well, with the cloister having a leader, perhaps the leader is of even more higher intelligence and wisdom, and does have a limited spellcasting clerical ability. And then you can kind of like adjust the stat block accordingly for that, and then perhaps grant a little more use of said creature for the heroes at your table.
Yeah, here's 2d4 acid damage, but you get 1d8 healing.
There you go. So yeah, just a small thought on that. They do seem to be set up for a hive mind-esque kind of intelligence with the cloisters, but there's no mechanics that reflect that. They just they don't have a hive mind, but they obviously can communicate telepathically with each other, and that range can be significantly increased should they acquire a mind witness from a mind flayer colony. So, but yeah, that's the old Flumph.
I like it. There's not a whole lot I think I would change either.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of maybe centering like a monastery on the Flumphs. So like Monk of the Flumph would be kind of cool.
Oh God.
And just, making that not necessarily a subclass, but like tying it into a monk's background, I think would be kind of neat. Cleric seems like a bit of a stretch, as does Paladin, but I think monk could, fit right in.
The way of the Flumph monk.
And just like
a permanent
rebrands.
casting of levitation.
Right.
You've honed your mind.
There's what am I thinking of here? The healing monk. I was thinking like because there's a
Way
monk
of
that,
Mercy?
like, specialized. Way of Mercy, yeah.
Mm.
Way of Mercy. Way of the Astral Self could be kind of neat to rebrand.
Mm.
But I think those are probably the only two that you could really make it work.
Yeah.
But your Way of Mercy mask could be a Flumph, like have all these little tentacles coming off it.
Yeah.
I think there's some ways to reskin that. Mm-hmm. I also love the idea of these being like a Druid of the Underdark familiar or like a Gloomstalker familiar.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Because they're just set dressing. Realistically, that's all they are is set dressing. But I think the way I'd use them the most is to foreshadow an encounter, like have this little squad of Flumph just like retreating at full speed down a cave, runs into a party and like huddles around the party and tries to communicate to them that there's something coming down. And you smell this stench just wafting down the cavern as like this poisoned, I don't know, displacer beast or something comes stalking out of the darkness.
Yeah. There's a part of me that's like my brain's going all the way back to the Kieran episode, and they have their like sort of layers on the top of a mountain, but like maybe it's like at the top of the mountain, but it's set deep into the stone, and all of the sort of attendants to the Kieran are these Flumphs, these monastic Flumphs, or roving around, sharing philosophies, doing the day-to-day chores.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're maybe you have like a rock dwarf or a mountain dwarf or like a rock gnome who part of their culture is to make this pilgrimage to this Flumph monastery.
Yeah.
And gain insight and knowledge, and maybe that's how you find out what your class is. You don't choose your class; you're bestowed your class by this colony of Flumphs
through enlightenment. Yeah,
I think that'd fit really well into like a rock gnome culture or something.
That would be actually really fun. Yeah, there's a big part of me that really wants to run an Underdark or Darklands sort of adventure, but
our next campaign might be Underdark.
Oh, that would be sick. That would be awesome. I would love that.
I'm really, really toying around with it. I got a really cool book from Kobold Press that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also started
non-official content. Ooh,
older editions, and this one would allow you to like as a player instead of picking like elf or gnome as your ancestry, you can add like vampire and ghoul to that list, or like mummy. You could play a mummy for no reason at all.
Neat. That's awesome. The Pathfinder 2nd edition Book of the Dead is coming out soon, and I believe mummies are going to be a playable thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
just awesome.
Yeah, mummies, vampires, skeletons. I think you're going to be able to play all those. So cool.
Yeah. So I think that's probably all I would do with Flumphs. I wouldn't, obviously these aren't creatures designed to be attacked. The stat block is nice to have, but this could probably be in the compendium at the back, as opposed to it actually being its own page.
Yeah, I feel like there was enough. Like you're always right. Like in that there was almost too much for this creature? Because we've covered some creatures where there's very little, but we're so satisfied with it. And these ones, just there was so much, but it didn't really give us, at least just us maybe, any real idea of how to use them, where to use them. It didn't come as naturally in that inspiration. Maybe they just need a little bit different love in their lore. And maybe this is the perfect creature for a listener out there to come up with something really cool. Just mold them and transform them into something for yourself.
The great Flumph god. Maybe there's just a single Flumph in your world and it's the size of a roper.
Oh my god, that'd be so good.
But if you've got that idea, we would absolutely love to hear it. You can shoot us off an email at info@encounterthis.ca if you want to post about it on social medias, and you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at EncounterPod or Instagram at encounter.pod, where you should absolutely go to look at the art for this, because it's really, really difficult to understand exactly what these things are and how they look. And the 5e art drops day and date, so... if you like this or you want to help us out in any particular fashion, we accept cash at patreon.com/encounterpod. $5 a month will get you a handwritten thank you letter and access to our show notes. And for $10 a month, you can suggest a creature. Maybe you want us to go down that Gith road and spend 6 months of researching Githyanki and Zerai, because there is a lot there. There was an entire astral war that splintered those two factions. We would have a lot of fun doing that, and we would happily take your money to do so. But at the very least, if you could rate and review us on your platform of choice, be it iTunes or whatever Apple's calling iTunes now, and Spotify, those really help us, and it helps new listeners find us when they're looking for D&D things.
I think it's just Apple Podcasts now.
I think you're right. I think it's just Apple Podcasts, but it's like the Sky Dome, or it's never going to be the Rogers Center to me. It's always going to be the Sky Dome. It'll always be iTunes. There's no reason for me to acknowledge that it's been changed to Apple Podcasts. It's like Xerox has become a colloquialism.
Yeah.
Dumpster. Like, everybody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about a dumpster. I'm not specifically talking about a dumpster brand dumpster.
Yeah, it's
sorry,
like
a dumpster
Javex
brand garbage receptacle.
Yeah.
Or if you think we're wrong about any of that stuff, for $1 a month on patreon.com/encounterpod, you can get into our Discord and have full access to us day or night, so you can just spam how wrong we are about calling it iTunes.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah, why not? But thank you so much for listening. We will get back to you in 2 weeks with the non-awaited follow-up to Lamia, Jackalware.
All right, I gotta go. It's been nearly an hour. I've been holding my flumphs in.